Hello, good morning. Oh, wait. Oh, yes, I'm on. Okay. It is Sunday morning, and I'm really excited to be teaching you once again from home. Today, we are going to be talking about money, 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 money. Hey, that's in the wrong way. Money. So, our topic of conversation is actually going to be centered around interest. However, I think it's just very, as your teacher, I need to tell you that money, although it is not everything, it is very important. And it not only allows us to get our necessities, such as food, shelter, and clothing, but it also allows us to enrich our lives with education or, those things that we want to do. Like if you ever want to travel or buy something special. So money has a wide spectrum of applications and, it's essential. So start now. Let's start developing habits now. How can we do that? Well, knowledge is power. So today's topic of interest actually might help you in the future. And honestly, the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be. So you actually could be further ahead than me at whatever age I am if you start right now at 11 or 12. All right, let's get going. Okay, so here I have for you my circle map with interest in the center and some ways that interest is used. Now, I'm going to split my thinking map in half because in purple is ways that we as consumers or customers of banks, we receive interest. So this is how we make money off interest. On this side, this is where we pay interest. So we have to, I'm putting a minus sign because it deducts from our accounts and goes into the banks. So on the plus side here, we've got IRAs, investments. Some of you may already have some bonds, CDs. These are accounts where you put money into a bank, but you're not allowed to touch it for a fixed amount of time. You have general savings accounts. Those tend to have lower interest rates. And then you have mutual funds. Now, on the negative side, not necessarily negative because, at one point or another, we all may need a loan, but this is, again, money that we have to pay. I'm going to start actually let's start with car loans. So let's say I want to buy a car and that car costs $20,000 and I don't have the $20,000 to pay for that car. So I may ask for a loan. And so the bank will give me a loan and then they will charge me an interest to borrow the money. So I not only pay them back the $20,000, but I'm also going to give them the interest, an extra amount of money to basically, that's the servicing of the loan. So I'm paying them for loaning me that money. The same goes with home loans. So if I buy a house, or I do actually pay a home loan. So I pay a home loan right now, and every month I pay back my loan, but I also pay a percentage. Right now, I believe it's like 5% interest. I pay 5% interest on my home loan on top of paying back the actual amount that they had lent to me, which was the principal. Student loans are extremely common because education, college can be very important. I mean, it is very important. Obviously, that's in my brain, but college can be also expensive. So many students take out a student loan. Once they're finished with school, they get to pay that loan back, again on a monthly basis. But they're not just paying the amount that it costs to go to school, they're also paying interest on that loan. Many times people get personal loans. Some banks, for example, like my credit union, you're able to get a small personal loan if you want to buy a laptop or something to that nature. So those exist as well. And again, you pay them back on a monthly basis and some extra for giving you the loan. That is interest. Many businesses, actually most businesses, get loans because to start a business, it costs a lot of money. So they borrow from the bank and then little by little, once a month, they start to pay back. And they, again, are paying an additional amount of money because they borrowed the money. So we have to pay interest. So in this case, we get interest because we put money in. We are putting the money into the bank, so the bank pays us interest. In this case, we are taking the money from the bank and we pay them interest because they are giving us the money. So in this section here, when we put money into savings accounts, the bank is like the borrower, and in this case, we are the borrowers. Now, credit cards I saved for last. Now, credit cards are essentially considered a consumer loan. Now, we're all consumers because we consume different food and products, and when we go to the grocery store, we're consuming all of the grocery goods, or when we go to the mall, we consume whatever products they have there. So these are considered consumer because it's not really for a car or a house or a student loan or a business. It's slightly related to personal loans. Now, a credit card, I use a credit card every month, and I pay my gas and my grocery bills, or my grocery when I go to the grocery store. But I pay it at the end of the month. So when I pay everything back at the end of the month, guess what? I don't have to pay interest on that. However, let's say Miss Lluch goes crazy. She says, I want to go to Hawaii and I don't have the money, so I'm just going to put it on my credit card and I'm just going to be, I'm not going to worry about it. So let's say I spend $5,000 and I go to Hawaii and I sit on the beach and I have so much fun. And then guess what? I come home, I get that credit card bill, and I'm only able to pay $1,000 that month. So remember, I spent $5,000 in Hawaii. So I pay down $1,000. Well, whatever's left of that $4,000 that I am borrowing that money from the bank. So now the bank starts to charge me interest on that until I pay it off. So credit cards, if you pay them off at the end of the month, they will not charge you interest. But if you don't pay it back in full, then they start to charge interest. And guess what? Out of all of these, credit cards have the highest interest rates. So you really need to, this is where young people, I'm going to include myself in that. Just kidding. Actually, all people, we need to be aware of the hidden charges that exist when we use your credit cards. Okay, so that is my short explanation, it wasn't that short, of interest. So let's go over some vocabulary words. Is the amount of money deposited or borrowed. Simple interest is the interest paid only on the principal. And the annual interest rate is the percent of the principal earned or paid per year. And the balance is the sum of the interest and the principal balance. That's a lot of words, I know. So let me go ahead. I'm going to just give you a quick little example here. A little money example. Okay, so let's say Miss Lluch puts in $1,000 into the bank. There I am. Hi, I'm going to the bank with my money. There's the purse with my money in it. Let me put some address on before I go to the bank. Okay, so I take $1,000 and I put it into the bank. Okay, now the bank offers me an interest rate of 5%. That is always, an interest rate is always going to be in a percent. So then I leave it in for 1 year. And that means, let's see here. So I equals PRT. Put in $1,000. Now the principal is what I put in. And remember, principal means first. So you could think about it as the first amount of money that you had. So I put in $1,000. My interest rate is 5%. So I'm going to make it a decimal. And I leave it in there for a year. And then I get, let's see here, I get $50 because 1,000 times 500 times 1 is 50. So $50 is the interest I earned. That was just money that I got because I put money into the bank and it just sat there. Now, what is the balance now that I have in my bank account? Well, now I have the principal of $1,000 plus the interest that I made. I have $1,050. Yay. I love interest when it's working in my favor. Okay, so again, $1,000 would explain principal. The interest rate is the percent that the bank is offering me for putting my money into the bank. The balance is the sum of the principal and the interest. And that would be, in this case, $1,000. $50 is the interest, the amount of interest, which is the I. Okay? So we're going to do some examples here to sort of solidify our understanding of interest. Okay.